Hello everybody, I'm Nick.
And I'm Ginger. Welcome to More to Love Homestead. We'd like to take this time to introduce ourselves and let you know why there is so much more to love. And we didn't forget how to spell. There's a story behind the way that's spelled, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that later. But for now, this is Nick. He's my husband, and I'm Ginger, obviously. We have 2 children. We have Kevin, who's 24. He is multiply disabled, but he is living his best life, and that's not going to change anytime soon. And we have Isaiah, who is a very active and, let's just say, crazy 2-year-old. We started homesteading, like a lot of people, when the world started going crazy in 2020. I was raised on a small 5-acre farm. My dad did a lot of the work, but we helped out as much as we were able to my entire childhood. Raising my own food was not anything that I wasn't used to. But getting into animals, we didn't have any animals. It was just not a thing. I have always loved chickens and the idea of farm fresh eggs and, knowing where my food is coming from. And a girlfriend of mine happens to be a breeder. And I know her practices, I know how well she takes care of her animals, and when the pandemic hit and I was not able to return back to work, the idea crossed my mind that we could definitely use a steady supply of fresh eggs.
So, I initially at first did not like the idea. I never was really on a farm. The most that I had was my grandpop and I had a garden when I was a kid, and it was probably maybe 20 foot by 15 foot, wasn't very big. Definitely never had animals. Milk came from Walmart. We never really I never had that. I knew of it. I knew people who did have that. We are located in southern New Jersey, and there are farms here, so it's not uncommon. So I was acquainted with it, but never had been through it. So Ginger came to me talking about chickens, and I said, nah, don't think so. That was in February 2020, and then March 15th or so happened in 2020, and I decided, okay, time to get chickens. So I did find a used coop/run combo on Marketplace, and I bought it and got it back here, and then the chickens came to live.
And those 6 hens, most of them are still in our flock today, 2 years later, and the flock has expanded just a little. Chicken math is real, y'all. Is real. One of my greatest pleasures in owning chickens is when I have broody mamas and they hatch out babies, and it's getting to be that time of year, and I have one that I think is going broody. I just was out there today, and she's hiding a little nest off in the corner. I'm so excited. I can't wait to have babies again. My next big idea was raised garden beds. Having a infant at home and spending a lot of time nursing him and holding him, I discovered a lot of great YouTube channels and some phenomenal ideas. Not all of them stuck with him, but I presented him a very affordable option for making raised garden beds. And that first year, we had 6 of them, and he actually liked the peppers that I grew so much. I grew these little shishito peppers. I'd never grown them before. I don't know why, but they went crazy. And it was so good that he actually used them in a sermon one Sunday. And beyond that, we've actually started a food forest. We expanded the raised garden area. We added, I think I'm up to 6 or 7 actual gardens around the property. We are currently on a little over between 2 and 2.5 acres here in New Jersey, but we are very restricted.
It's an understatement.
Yeah, we cannot have, we could have maybe one larger animal like one pig or one goat, but they tend to be animals that you need to have more than one. And even with the amount of property that we have, I know we even have space that we could rotationally graze them. They will not allow us in this township. So we're sticking to the chickens. We have added, Nick actually decided to get into meat rabbits. We bought quite a few rabbits, had our first litter before either one of us had even tried rabbit to know if we'd like it or not. But it's a good thing. It's actually pretty tasty. It's all in how you prepare it, and it's very flexible, just like chicken. You may hear them in the background, but we have started with turkeys this year. They are currently living in our hallway, and they're very active. They're 3 weeks old, and they're almost as crazy as our toddler. But what makes us different? There's a lot of homesteading channels out there. There's a lot of farming channels. There's a lot of stuff you can watch. Why watch what we're doing? We are getting ready to pack up our entire homestead and move 625 miles to southeast Kentucky. This one came to me with an idea last summer. He felt very led to get out of New Jersey. Not necessarily with a solid idea of where we wanted to go, but just that we needed to get out of New Jersey.
Sorry to interrupt this introduction video, but it is actually a little bit after that, a couple weeks after we recorded that, and I got to editing because we had a trip in between. In my editing process of this video, I decided that there were some things missing, and I wanted to just expand a little bit to give you guys a better idea of who we are and what we're about. Well, that and the GoPro apparently shut off while we were filming the last one, and I didn't notice it until I got deep into the editing process. In August of 2021, I went to Ginger with the possibility of leaving New Jersey, which came as a shock. That was not really something that we had ever thought about doing. And so she thought about it, and she said, yeah, okay, we can explore it. So we started looking in West Virginia and Tennessee because some of the reasons why we were looking to get out of New Jersey, and I'll be brief here because we're going to talk about this in videos to come. I'm going to give you guys the top 3. Number 1, taxes. Number 2, freedom. And what I mean by that is the ability to have animals that you want. As many animals as you want. And I mean farm animals. You know, cows, goats, pigs, sheep, those kinds of things. Even chickens, we are limited on here. We basically, where we sit right now, we're not able to have hardly any of those things. We are limited on the number of chickens, but we can have chickens. We wanted a place where we did not have any limitations on those things like we do here in New Jersey. That was number 2. Number 3 is I've heard several people in the homesteading community discuss building a community. And some believe that you can build a community where you are planted. You know, wherever you are in this country, in this world, you can find people, if you look hard enough, that will work with you, that will team with you to provide everything that the community, I use that term loosely, I don't know what else to call it, needs to survive and be self-sustainable. Well, we do not necessarily subscribe to that because, again, how can you be self-sustainable being so limited here in what you can do? We wanted to go to a place where we had the freedoms to have those animals and be with somewhat like-minded people. So we felt that the best way that we could do that would be to look for a place that is unincorporated. Now, some of you may be familiar with what that is. It is essentially a place where there is no township, no city. You are vaguely governed by county government, which is very, very limited in scope compared to the other two. We don't have any such thing as unincorporated area. It just doesn't exist. But they do down south, West Virginia and Tennessee and Kentucky. But we started with West Virginia and Tennessee because they're the place to go if you want to do this, right? We looked for months in both places, like a month, actually about a month. I say months, but this all happened very quickly. Ginger and I tend to move very quickly with things. Also talk about that in another video. But for now, you know, we were looking in West Virginia, Tennessee, and the real estate prices were very high. This was back in August to September of 2021. Very high and very hard to attain. And what I mean by that is things would be listed at 7 a.m. and under contract by 9. I mean, 2-hour window. It was insane. I talked to several real estate agents in Tennessee who had told me that they had never seen a market like this before. and that it'd be very tough to get what we were looking for in our price range. Well, we found a yurt in West Virginia. Shout out to you if you found the yurt. If you are the owner of the yurt, please message us. We'd love to hear from you because that was a killer property. Honestly, that property was beautiful. And so was the yurt. I think it was like 20 acres or something like that, and it had a yurt on it that was pretty much finished off. It needed some work, but it was at the top of our price range. And we called the real estate agent. We were willing to make a bid sight unseen. Now, don't necessarily condone this, okay? But we were willing to do that at that point, and the real estate agent would not allow us to do that. This was on a Friday afternoon. I said, well, I can come tomorrow morning. Go to West Virginia. It's about 6 hours. So I said I can come tomorrow, which was Saturday. I had off. I could come tomorrow morning and look at it. And, you know, we would go and see it and then go from there. Well, he told me, he said, well, there's 5 other people coming to look at it between tonight and tomorrow morning. So I can guarantee you'll get a bid in if you want one, but I can't guarantee that it will go for that price. Meaning it could go for more. Meaning it was probably going to be out of our price range. So we decided that, you know, we were going to move on from that. So what we decided to do was continue our search. Although I was a little bit defeated at this point because I really wanted that property. I really wanted a lot of these properties that we had looked at, but it just wasn't meant to be. So the next day, that Saturday, guys, this is how quick this all worked out. That Saturday, I think it was that Saturday. It was over that weekend after the West Virginia property didn't work out. And I'd gotten a notification on Facebook because I had branched out a little bit. And I had branched out to Kentucky. And I found a Kentucky, I think it was Moving to Kentucky group or something like that. And I had posted in there kind of what we were looking for. The post was a couple of weeks old, guys. It was not new. I had forgotten about it. It was from a lady who was telling me about her in-laws' property. They had passed away. And her husband was looking to sell. The house needed a lot of work. I mean, it needed a lot of work. Even so, it was well within our price range, and it was a beautiful house. It was a beautiful property. It was mountainside, which is a little more challenging to work on, which we're still working out the logistics of that. We're getting there. We knew it had potential, and we decided to put it under contract. We had a couple of tests on the house that passed, just to make sure it wasn't terribly out of condition and was able to be fixed somewhat, right? At least the bones were good. So we had those done. It passed, and we decided that we were going to go down in mid-October and sign on it. When we got to Kentucky, we were staying with the sellers who lived across the street from the house that we were buying, which was really cool. We could go up there and see things, and they could tell us stuff, right? Because we were working one-on-one with the seller, which is a beautiful thing because it made it so that we could say, hey, where's the septic tank lid? Stuff that a realtor may not necessarily know or may have to go through some paperwork to find out. It was really nice to have that. They were really extremely helpful. We had gotten videos and pictures of inside the property and inside the house before we were under contract. And that's what made us go under contract. So at this point, we were ready to sign. We had done that long trip. We got to Kentucky. We looked at it. We thought it was a good idea, a nice property, lots of potential, and we bought it. It was an interesting experience. I'll never forget sitting in the real estate agent's office, signing the paperwork with the lawyers and such. It was a beautiful thing, guys. It was a beautiful thing. Wonderful family. Can't say enough good about them. That we were working with, the sellers. Just wonderful family. It all had kind of flowed so smoothly. But the interesting thing about this, and I'll share this one story quickly about the process of buying, was, as I said, we were looking for unincorporated land. So my number one question to the lady we were dealing with was, is it unincorporated? And she said, yes. With that in mind, you read things on Google and, sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. I wanted to dig a little more before we made this investment and did this move. So I had called the county office and I said, well, we're looking to buy a house over here. Just wanted to know, are there any restrictions? The lady at the county office, it was actually the judge's office. That's kind of where you go for this stuff down there. She said, I don't know what you mean. I said, well, we're from New Jersey. We're looking to move down there, looking to buy a house. Up here, we can't have more than 12 chickens
We can only have one head of livestock on, per so many acres. And she started laughing. She said, no. She said, we don't do that down here. It's your land. You can do what you want. She said, as a matter of fact, the only thing that you need a permit for down here is if you get your electric box changed, like your big electric box coming in the house, or your septic tank. You don't need a permit for anything else, which is such a huge contrast from up here. That really alone kind of cemented the deal for us. And, we've talked with neighbors. We've talked to other people down there since buying, because, again, this was back in October, and here we are in spring. So, 6-month window there. And it's huge down there. There is a lot of agriculture. Some of our neighbors are involved. There's a goat dairy up the road from us. So we're looking to kind of connect with them. There's also people who raise chickens, rabbits, cows. There's actually cows being raised several places within 10 or 15 miles. There's a lot of potential down there, not to mention the fact that there are deer and other animals on the property, wild deer that kind of cross through, right? There is a vast amount of potential there. And we do have 12 acres, but it is mountainside, so some of it's heavily wooded. It's going to take us a while to kind of get to a place where we're able to explore it all. Again, the potential's there. We were not looking to buy a house that was ready to go. We wanted to be able to transform it and make it our own. There are so many other stories that I could share with you in this video. They will be forthcoming. I promise you that we have so many stories to tell, so many adventures to go on together. Even though I'm filming this a little later than the original one was recorded, the one that you saw in the beginning of this video, there is so much of this that is still unwritten. There are so many things that we don't know, that I don't know sitting here today, and that is what I think makes this so interesting. Well, here's the deal. We are going to give you as much information as we possibly can. I know that there is a lot of overlapping content in the homestead community, right? How many times can you see the cute poultry waterers that you can buy pretty much everywhere now? They are the best solution for watering. We want to share with you original content, and I have a lot of original content, I believe. There is some that will slightly overlap, but we want to give you guys fresh ideas. So I'm going to just give you 2 little sneak peeks of things that are coming that will be uploaded after this video goes live. So if you're watching this, please loop back to our channel. You'll see probably some of these, maybe all of them, depending on when you're watching. But the one is our spring trip to Kentucky, spring 2022 trip to Kentucky, as well as our turkey endeavor, which we do have turkeys. We have 7 of them that we are going to be harvesting before we leave here that will be in our freezer, hopefully, Lord willing, by that point. Those 2 are 2 videos that are coming. If you like homesteading content, if you like original homesteading content, if you like adventure content in the homesteading community, then I would highly suggest that you like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell notification so that you get a notification each time that we upload a video, because there are so many things that I feel really can add a lot to the homesteading community that we can offer. And that's why we are here. We are here as a channel, as a community, to engage with you. We don't want this to just be one-sided. We don't want you to just watch our video and go somewhere else, or go back to our channel and watch videos. Yes, that helps us out, and yes, we thank you for watching. We are ultimately here to connect with you. So feel free to drop a comment, tell us about yourself, send us a message, whatever it is you'd like to do, because we are here to connect with you. This is us. This is More to Love Homestead. And actually, as I think about it, there'll be a video explaining that name, because our last name is not Moore. So why is this More to Love Homestead, and why is it spelled the way that it is? Another great content video that will be forthcoming. So like, comment, subscribe, connect with us, join us, guys, because this is going to be a ride that I think you all will enjoy very, very much, and will add to you and give you ideas for your homestead that you can put into play. Because ultimately, there is more to love about our homestead than just our animals, than just us. There is so much going on here that we want to share with you. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again in the next one.